do we have everybody from the lobby, Kavil? All right, let's begin. Good evening, everybody. Thank you very much for joining us here today. On behalf of NIT University, I'd like to extend a very warm welcome to all the students and their parents who've joined us today for this interaction. I'd like to begin by requesting Professor V.S. Rao, President NIT University, to welcome everyone and say a few words. Sir, please.
Thank you, Manisha. Good evening, everybody. I welcome you all to this evening session. We normally conduct this session physically every year in metros, Mumbai, Delhi, Hyderabad, and Calcutta. Even our founders participate invariably. Some of our alumni, either from that particular city or from the other cities, also join. In addition to people from the industry, even this year, I'm told that there are people who are joining us. This is the first of the series that we have planned. Several conversations in the next maybe 6 to 8 weeks. And you are free to join even other sessions because it provides an opportunity for the students and the parents to interact with founders, the senior leadership, and faculty, alumni, and people from the industry to clarify their doubts or any other matter where they need clarifications. So today, we have a relatively large panel. As I mentioned again, to repeat, founders, Mr. Rajendra Pawar and Mr. Vijay Thadani, and senior leadership, plus some alumni and people from the industry to address various issues. Actually, this university believes that there should be a proper understanding between the student, the prospective student, and the university to find out a proper fit. That's the reason why we provided you an opportunity at the time of personal interaction, which we call student personal interaction and parents personal interaction, where you have already interacted. It is not an interview, it was an interaction to understand each other. In a similar way, this is another opportunity for students and parents to understand more about the university before you take this important decision. Before I hand over to Manisha to take it through, let me tell you briefly about the university. I'm sure throughout the session, our people are going to talk about it. NIT University was established in the year 2009, a private university under the State Act. And we run degree programs at all the 3 tiers of higher education, like any other university. But however, we have restricted to niche areas. Even in the niche areas, we go for computer science and engineering. In areas our people are going to tell you, specializations, artificial intelligence, machine learning, cloud computing, cyber security, etc., etc. You are going to see various differentiators and the things that we do in a different way. That is why you need to understand more about this university. With these words, I welcome you once again to this interesting session, and over to you, Monisha, to take us through.
Thank you very much, sir. During the course of the evening, we'll be introducing you to not only the leadership team at NU, but just so that you are able to get a 360-degree view of what we represent. We also have in this session a few of our alumni, some industry partners, and also some current students. We've been receiving many questions from you, and we've categorized them across sections, and we'll be taking those during the evening today. Our speakers, however, will be more than happy to take on additional questions, if any, during the session. I request you to type these questions in the chat box window on the right side of your screen so that we can address them as we go along. And last but not the least, some of you may have actually not had a chance to visit our campus. So we thought, what better way than to bring the campus to you? So as you notice, each of us will be having a background view of our favorite spot on campus for you to see, and we'll describe that as we go along. My background, by the way, is that of the reception driveway, the first point where you'll get off from your vehicle to enter inside. With this, I'd like you to be introduced to our first speaker, Mr. Rajendra S. Pawar. Mr. Pawar, an industry visionary, is the chairman and co-founder of NIIT Limited and founder of NIIT University. Mr. Pawar, for his outstanding contribution to the IT industry, has been awarded the country's prestigious civilian honor, the Padma Bhushan. He has led several industry initiatives as chairman of NASSCOM and has been conferred many awards like the Distinguished Alumnus Award at IIT, the IT Man of the Year, and the Master Entrepreneur of the Year, to name a few. Today, he'll talk to us about NIIT University, its vision, and its mission. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Manisha, and a very warm welcome to all of you who are on this talk, on this conversation. And let me start by saying that I'm delighted to be here with all of you. And I think this is a very important conversation between all of us at NIIT University, which we call NU, who have chosen, all of you as students, with high potential and very high passion on one side, and all of you who have chosen NU as the place where you want to spend the most exciting 4 years of your life as you pursue your study in management or education and the other disciplines that we offer. So let me touch upon a few points. First of all, the university, the vision of the university. Now, as you may have noticed, we call ourselves the University of the Future, and we aspire to be role models as an institution in terms of learning, educational learning, research, innovation and entrepreneurship, and sustainability. So in these dimensions, we aspire to be seen as a leader at a global level. And in fact, what's very important to note is that in this very challenging period of COVID, we will be seen, as we enter our 11th year, as a shining example of the use of technology, which is so important, as a university that really ascribes value to sustainability and nature, as you will see in our campus, which has been declared and recognized for sustainability. So our vision is to fulfill the aspiration of being a university of the future by excelling in a few known areas, which is learning, research, innovation, and sustainability. Now, what is it we are after? What is our mission? So our mission essentially is to create exceptional talent by transforming young schoolgoers or school leavers like yourself into leaders of the fields that you choose, which may be engineering, science, management, and of course, in also building up startups, because we have great success already of startups coming out of NU. And we want to achieve this mission by using 4 very specific approaches and capabilities. First, to be an innovator in the use of technology. And some of you know, NIIT now is about 40 years old. We work in 40 countries. We've trained 40 million people. And all of that has been about technology and through technology. So that's one dimension by which we'll achieve our mission. The second is our very deep and wide linkages with industry, where we work with over 500 companies, and our students get the opportunity to engage with these organizations. The third approach to achieving the mission is through research. And you should know that each one of you, even in your first year of college, will be introduced to the subject of research as a subject and as papers. And that will lead to entrepreneurship and perhaps in many startups. And finally, a very important part of achieving the mission is to groom each one of our students as a responsible citizen of the world by getting you to understand sustainability, environment, connection with society, responsibility to society. So these four methods of achieving the mission of becoming a university of the future is what our vision and mission is all about. Very briefly about our chancellor. So as founders, we created the vision mission, and then we have an exceptional chancellor, Dr. K. Kasturi Rangan, a recipient of the Padma Vibhushan. He was a member of parliament, Rajya Sabha till 2009. But before that, he was the very eminent and recognized and decorated chairman of the Indian Space Research Organization, ISRO, till 2003. And very importantly, in 2017 and 18, he was chairing the committee set up by the Ministry of HRD to look at the new policy on education. And so the work that he has done in that, of course, finds its expression in a university like ours, and we intend to benefit enormously from his guidance as he takes over from our earlier chancellor, that was Dr. Karan Singh. Dr. Kasturi Rangan has been a chancellor of many famous universities, which include the Indian Institute of Science, Jawaharlal Nehru University, the IIT Madras, and is currently also the chancellor of the Central University of Rajasthan. The chancellor is assisted by a very distinguished board, which includes, among the senior members, Professor R.C. Malhotra, who was the erstwhile director of IIT Kanpur, Professor V.S. Rao, who's a vice chancellor, who spent many years at BITS Pilani, finally as the vice chancellor, and was also responsible for setting up the Hyderabad campus of BITS. We also have Mr. Som Mittal. His last assignment, he was the president of NASSCOM, very powerful industry body, and has led Hewlett-Packard and Wipro in his earlier years. Mr. Arjun Malhotra, another great leader of the industry, who was a founder of HCL. Mr. Harpal Singh, who was earlier in the Tatas and then chaired Fortis and is a very eminent educationist on the board of many institutions. And then the four founders of NIIT, and you'll be hearing me and Mr. Thadani. And all of these is a group of eminent academics, scientists, entrepreneurs, and business leaders. So this is the team at the board which guides the Vice Chancellor and his team to take us forward. And the objective of the board is to provide oversight to the Vice Chancellor. And the Vice Chancellor, with the help of the Chancellor and the board, is charged with the responsibility of achieving the vision of the university and all the mission, elements of the mission that I talked about. So you are hearing me speak, and you'll hear the other leaders as well, but behind each of us, you'll see a picture, as Monisha said. So behind me is a picture of, far away you see the building, but right behind me, to my right, you see the emblem of the university, and that is the Mobius Strip. It talks about seamlessness, and that's a long story, but it talks about the connectivity and sustainability and nature and society, and how every student we expect will be a responsible citizen of the world by recognizing their responsibility, putting their knowledge, their heart, their emotion, their passion, everything seamlessly into becoming a very successful leader in society. And that is what the institution is all about. And that is what we aspire to achieve. So with that, I'll hand you back to Monisha.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Our next speaker today is Mr. Vijay Thadani. He is Vice Chairman and Managing Director, NIIT Limited, and co-founder, NIIT University. Mr. Thadani has been actively engaged with many industry bodies and has held positions like President of the Indian IT Industry Association, Chairman of CII Northern Region, Chairman of the National Accreditation Board for Education and Training, and has also been on the board of MNIT Jaipur, Triple IT Allahabad, and IIT Delhi. Today, he'll talk to us about the core principles of NIIT University. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Monisha. First of all, my dear future Newtons, your name has been crafted very carefully. You're called Newtons because that's what you will become by the time you spend the 4 years at the campus. It's only pronounced differently, N-U capital T-O-N-S. Since you are not yet formally Newtons, therefore we are going to formally Newtons, therefore we are now going to call you future Newtons for a few days. And then of course, we are very eager to welcome you at the campus and then start treating you like Newtons. First of all, congratulations on your acceptance at the university. You went through quite a rigorous selection process, but we are proud of the fact that we will have you amongst us as the eager students who are going to change this world as we go forward. Everybody, Monisha will introduce everybody, but nobody introduced Monisha, so I thought I'll just introduce you to her. She heads our industry, our admissions and industry-led programs, and is the person who's organizing this this conversation for you. Remember, it's a conversation and not a webinar because we want it to be an interactive session between you and us. We would like to speak less and like to hear you more. I want to just jump into the 4 core principles. Though Raji alluded to them and talked about them, I just want to see how do they get realized in real life in the day-to-day functioning of the campus. And the second also, how is it getting correlated with the current situation? So while I see a degree of curiosity on your face as to what is this place I'm going to be part of, I can also see a little bit of concern, little bit of stress, and that is understandable. You know, you're all in the middle of a journey, and that journey is over, and here we are talking about your new journey. So we just want to tell you, just be comfortable. We'll make sure that your next journey is seamless with the current journey. Seamlessness is one of the important aspects of NIIT University. So let me quickly correlate this. Raji did talk about the fact that industry link comes very naturally to us. Being around for 40 years, 40 million trained in 40 countries, we obviously have a large number of people who believe in us in the industry. And the industry, therefore, becomes a participant in the university. The way we say is, typically universities and industry have a ferry service between them, an occasional ferry service between them at the time of placement. But in our case, it's a permanent bridge. Why? Because there is continuous traffic between us and the industry. Industry professors become industry practitioners, come and become professors at the campus, and they are nearly 20% of the total faculty strength. We have industry partnerships which allow about 200, 250 graduates. We are a very compact campus, and that's a compact student base, but a vast campus, which is very useful in the current environment. And that gives us an opportunity to work with nearly 700 organizations for the 250 students that we have to graduate or to provide industry practice for. The entrepreneurship cell, because many of these industrialists come and talk about the dreams of youngsters, and therefore the whole entrepreneurship journey gets realized. So industry linked is not just in principle and in placement, but in every aspect of functioning. Industry's projects become a part of your first year, second year, third year projects. And as more leaders talk about, you'll hear how products for the industry get created by undergraduate students as a part of their what are known as the capstone projects. The second is technology. Technology flows in our blood. You know, it's a part of our DNA. So we eat, breathe, smell, dream, drink technology. That's all we do. So technology comes very naturally to us, and therefore technology finds its place in every element of the university's functioning, whether it is technology in delivering education or obviously delivering education in technology. So both education in technology and technology in education. The day the lockout was announced, next morning we were completely digital, and we were already beaming lectures and getting organized, and now assessments and labs, projects and library. The whole library of ours is now available to the students, including many people participated with their free e-learning courses to be available on the library. The third is research. Research is a very, very critical subject at this point of time. The reason for that is because as the world is grappling with this new problem, we are not only discussing future of work, we are discussing future of workplace also. So new solutions have to be imagined for just about everything, and new solutions are multidisciplinary. And to that extent, how we evoke your curiosity to solve these problems will become visible in the way we have a research-driven curriculum. So your curiosity awakening onwards go on for you to do a full research project as a part of that. And some of you also end up building products as you are going through your curriculum, and other leaders will talk about that. The last, which is very, very distinctive for the university, is seamlessness. Seamless with society, seamless with nature, seamless between hostel and classroom, seamless between college and university, seamless between the school and the university, seamless between university and industry. There are multiple dimensions, and that makes itself available in different forms of learning that we have. All this is extremely relevant in the current crisis. Imagine computer science and biotechnology are the two technologies, and electronics, obviously, without which computer science wouldn't exist. These are the technologies that will drive the solution for this current crisis that the whole world is going through. And the good news is many of you will be part of that solution. Many of you will be creating that solution. Many of you will be the Newtons who will discover the new laws of gravity or the new laws of functioning. So we are very eager to welcome you, and we'll talk more about it as you ask us questions. And many of you have asked those questions already, and Monisha will kind of queue them up and ask on your behalf with the other panelists. Thank you very much, and once again, eager to welcome you at the campus.
Thank you very much, sir. We'll now quickly move on to our next segment now. We've been receiving many questions from you, and we just wanted to make sure that we are able to handle as many of them as possible within one session, and also give a chance for you to ask questions from our leadership team. Please don't hesitate in asking anything that may be on your mind. And to make this easier, I'll bunch your questions into topics and divide them across two panels. Panel 1 is going to address queries on the academic governance, research, academic policy, curriculum, and engineering programs. This panel will get represented by Professor V.S. Rao, who's President, NIT University, Professor Parimal Manke, Vice President, and Professor Sudeep Sanyal, Dean, Engineering and Technology. Panel 2 will address queries on management and industry-led programs, campus life, academic and admission policies. This panel will be represented by Professor Shivendra Mathur, Professor Management, General A.K. Singh, Dean Student Affairs, and Professor Parimal Manke, Vice President. Additionally, let me once again remind you that we have with us today a few of our alumni, some industry partners, and a few current students who will be more than happy to answer any specific queries you may have. Kindly put down your queries in the chat window on the right side of your screen so that I can build that in as we go along. With this, I'd like to begin our first conversation with Professor V.S. Rao. sir. So what's your background today? You're in your office.
Yes.
Okay. So, sir, many questions have come to us asking about the research and entrepreneurship opportunities at NU, especially at the undergraduate level. How do we encourage those? And is the faculty also encouraged to get into research?
I must really appreciate people who have raised this or who have touched this very important issue of research and entrepreneurship, and especially at this juncture, as mentioned by our founders, and also it's a core principle. Research is one of the four core principles of NU. Research, innovation, and entrepreneurship are closely intertwined. That is why at NU, this occupies a prominent place. Research is an integral part of our curriculum right from the beginning. You may wonder how. Right from semester 1, students are required to do projects in their chemistry course, physics course, biology course, electronics, and communication. It is one evaluation component. Maybe in each subject there is 15% weightage for this project. What our professors have done innovatively is to integrate all these things into one project called nanoelectronics project. So right from year 1, people are being now exposed to nanoelectronics, and the research in nanoelectronics area, the chemistry part, the physics part, and the electronics part. Further added to this, to make it more interesting, our people brought in gamification by dividing the entire first year students into groups of 11 like cricket, and called it as not IPL but EPL, Nano EPL, Nano Electronics Premier League. Now these 11 students in each group are given a particular responsibility by the captain. It could be doing research into the nanochemistry or the nanophysics part or nanoelectronics part, and some other group of people are given marketing. Ultimately, the idea is we want to train our students right from first semester onwards in the art of information collection, which is required for research, documentation, analysis, and presentation. All are required for research. So we are giving training for research right from the first semester onwards. And when they move to second semester, more than 50% of the courses have project as one component of evaluation. Like there is test 1, quiz 1, test 2, and the semester terminal examination. There is a project in every course, at least 50% of the courses. The idea is again to train the students in the problem solving and the presentation, analysis, and all those that I have described for the nano EPL. When they move to the third year, we have actually created in the architecture one course called Research and Development Project. Here, students from different disciplines, the way Mr. Thadani described about computer science, biology, and other students coming together to find out a solution for COVID-19. So similar type of relevant problems have to be identified. We first encourage the students to identify problem because we strongly believe problem identification is very important and it is even more difficult. We want to train them in problem identification. And of course, our faculty will be guiding them in proper identification of the problems. Then they start in a very professional way in solving those problems. Some of those outcomes of the R&D projects have been translated into startups. I will later on mention how some groups have started at that particular stage and then taken that into an enterprise. In the 6th and 7th semesters, students are required to do capstone projects, essentially using all the knowledge that they have acquired in various professional courses, essentially leading into a product development. So these are the various opportunities available to the students right from semester 1 until semester 7, that is before going to the industry practice. Of course, in the industry practice, they are going to participate in the problem solving efforts of the industry. Further, to encourage students, the university gives stipend called NU Research Assistance Program under NURAP, NIIT University Research Assistance Program, for students interested in working in research projects during summer term. We give a stipend of 5,000 rupees and free accommodation in our hostels. Furthermore, these students who are working with our faculty can publish papers. We encourage this. We tell our faculty also that we give them credit if they publish papers with students, joint publications with students. Further, we also support our students for attending national and international conferences for presenting this work. So there have been several experiences. I think some of them are here today amongst us, who may share, our students and alumni who may share their experiences where they have presented the outcomes of these projects in national and international conferences. As correctly mentioned by Mr. Rajendra Singh Pawar and Mr. Vijay Thadani, how research, innovation, entrepreneurship and startup are closely intertwined. So we encourage entrepreneurship. For that matter, right from the year 1 inception, a strong emphasis was laid on entrepreneurship. The reason could be the founders themselves are entrepreneurial. They have actually established successful enterprises. That could be one reason. Whatever it is, right from year 1, we encourage our students. Why year 1? Even before you start first semester, we have got something called Resonance, a unique induction program, which this university started 10 years ago, which is now being followed by many. During this induction period, there will be several other activities which my other colleagues will explain to you, but I would like to pick up one particular thing, that is entrepreneurship. We invite eminent people who have established successful enterprises to share their experiences and inspire these students, the prospective students, Newtons, to entrepreneurship. Further, there will be workshops conducted during this period, and afterwards, during semester 1, there is a center called Center for Innovation, Incubation and Entrepreneurship, where you people can join. So this center organizes invited talks, conducts competitions, business plan competitions, and also hackathons. So this is how, right from year 1, our students are being oriented towards entrepreneurship. And there is a course called entrepreneurship, like you have got a course mathematics, or you have got a course called computer programming, chemistry, a course called entrepreneurship. Of course, this is not a compulsory course, an optional elective, humanities elective. Students can choose to do this elective. And we also have minors. You may ask me, what is this minor? So now all of you are being admitted to a major degree program like computer science and engineering, or biotechnology, or electronics, communication engineering, or 4-year integrated IMBA, or 4-year integrated MSc Computer Science. This is your major. The university has a provision of minor. So students who are interested, of course it is optional, who are interested can opt for minors. We offer minors in finance, business analytics, and entrepreneurship. So by doing 5 extra courses related to entrepreneurship, you will also get a certificate in entrepreneurship. So this is how we encourage entrepreneurship. I'm sure some of our successful entrepreneurs are there. So they will also today share their experience. However, I would like to mention one student by name, Atif Khan, who did his R&D projects in spatial computational area. He got that he wanted to convert that idea into a business. With the help of our founders, he got in contact with right kind of people, both for technical expertise as well as business expertise. So he got in touch, and then just after graduation, he started a drone company. So today, it's a big company having presence in several countries, and he is also assisting some of our young entrepreneurs on campus who are having entrepreneurial ideas, startup ideas. He is supporting them. Another one is Zar Securities in the area of cyber security. So 2 students who have got this idea today, they provide cyber solutions for many big companies like Aho. There is another 3rd group of students who started RAV Technologies by Rahul and group. They have actually developed simple devices, very cheap devices, inexpensive devices for detecting adulterants in foods and medicines. All these people have got a lot of recognition. And there are many other startups, and our people through Center for Innovation, Incubation and Entrepreneurship and the Tinkering Lab. So we provide support. What Monisha asked me, another question is, what encouragement we give to our faculty for doing research. Research is a very important thing for the career progression for our faculty. And as a result, they are all provided with Ignition grant. They are provided with the support of PhD students. We support them for attending international conferences and national conferences, everybody. And we provide support, and our Dean Research gives them enough opportunities for applying for research projects to various funding agencies. With this, I would appreciate actually again your interest in the area of research and entrepreneurship. You are most welcome to ask me or my other colleagues who can add about these aspects on research, entrepreneurship or any other area, and you should not hesitate. Over to you, Monisha.
Thank you very much, sir. I have got a few questions which I think as head of institution should be directed to you. And they are around, of course, a very natural question on everybody's mind, that what is the guideline that UGC is issuing to us? When are we expecting the session to commence? Any idea, any approximate dates?
Yeah, this is again a very pertinent question that students, parents, everybody must be anxious to know. It is an unusual situation that we are passing through. On 16th March, all over the country, universities and the colleges are all closed. Now, University Grants Commission has appointed a committee to look into academics and examinations. It consists of many eminent people, and they have also invited some more eminent people, and they have recently submitted their recommendations to UGC, and UGC has provided these guidelines. I must admit that these are really excellent guidelines. mostly advisory in nature, giving lot of flexibility to the universities, which is not very usual for a regulatory body in the country. But today, COVID has actually made the regulatory bodies to think more liberally and give autonomy to the universities. And accordingly, we have now taken up the matter. We have appointed a committee, internal committee, to go through the entire thing and come out of the calendar, our calendar. But what UGC has suggested is to start the new academic session from 1st of August for the pipeline students, for the students who are there right now in our first year, second year, and third year, and complete their examinations by end of July, August, and start but end of July and start their academic session from 1st of August. Whereas for the freshmen, for prospective students like you, freshmen and women, start the academic session from 1st September by completing the entire admission process in the month of August. So accordingly, we are planning. We have appointed the committee. The committee will come out in a day or two with a proper academic calendar. But in all probability, we will start our academic session on 1st September, whatever may be the situation. If we can have all of you on campus, yes. For some reason, if the lockdown continues, we will start the academic session on 1st September, online program, because our people are going to actually tell you what we have been doing in the last 2 months. Although we have got excellent support from the experience of NIIT Limited in conducting online classes, despite that, we have been doing research in online delivery, not only in terms of technology, but also training our faculty and also trying to understand the problems associated with the bandwidth at the reception end. And we have conducted surveys, and we are going to start from 1st September. Then you may also like to know what will happen if you start on 1st September. Then it is going to end the academic year. We are going to work 6 days a week. Of course, UGC in advisory, they have also mentioned all universities to work 6 days a week, to consider working 6 days a week in the next academic year. So we are committed for a 6-day week, and also for compression of the next summer vacation. We have almost worked out on our calendar, and one of my colleagues will also share with you later. So this is how we will complete the next academic session by 30th June 2021 and have a small vacation and start the next academic year, that is your second year, in August 2021. I hope I have answered your question.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you so very much, sir. Thanks a ton. I'd like to now just request Parimal ma'am if she's with us, or I think she had dropped out. So maybe I'd let me take this conversation to Professor Sudeep. Professor Sudeep is Dean of Engineering with us. Hi, Sudeep.
Yeah, hello.
Hi. So, Professor, we are getting a lot of questions from students because computer science and ECE are the most popular streams when it comes to engineering. So, I think students would want to know what are the specializations that we offer in these programs. How can they choose their electives and specializations? Just tell us briefly about this, please.
Yeah, okay. So we do have a lot of specializations because, as was being mentioned earlier, that we try to do the pedagogy is that there's a seamless transition of the students from, let's say, raw class 12 pass outs to people who are mature, who can take the place in the corporate world. So keeping that in mind, and we want this transition to be very smooth. So keeping that in mind, what we have is a pedagogy in which in the first 4 semesters, we concentrate on the core fundamentals. And then we have a transition where we allow the students to specialize in cutting edge areas. The idea being that these specializations are those that are very relevant to the industry today. So for example, in computer science, we have specializations in data science, big data engineering, cybersecurity, artificial intelligence, cloud computing. So mind you, these are the areas which are extremely important today. Similarly, for ECE, we have got wireless communication, again, communications and signal processing. We have got VLSI and embedded systems. We have got Internet of Things. And they also have an option to specialize in data science and robotics and automation. For biotechnology, that's another extremely important area today. We have got environmental biology, plant biotechnology, industrial biotechnology, and so on. I mean, it's a complete laundry list. So basically, the point that I'm trying to make is that it just takes care of everything, and these inputs actually come from the industry. Now, that is important because we try to do our curriculum in consultation with the industry, which means that the students not only learn the topics, but they also get trained on the tools and technologies which are actually used in the industry. And in fact, what you see behind me right now is probably my favorite place, which is the lab. So it happens to be a very exciting place, probably the place where real learning happens, because the real learning actually happens in the lab where you try out different things. A few of it works out, other ones don't work out. It might be a little frustrating at times, but at the end, this is where you actually get things done. And apart from specializations, we, as Professor Rao was saying, that we also allow people to have minors in case they want to branch out in a slightly different area like entrepreneurship or any other such thing. Then we offer minors, and they can actually pick up those extra skills in case they are interested in it. So basically, that is how this whole pedagogy is designed over here. So hope that answers the basic question.
Yes, yes. And so we've got a specific question for you, and it talks about how can we relate the ECE stream activities with space research, and which electives can be taken from ECE if the student is interested to get into space research?
Yeah, that's a very interesting question. So for space research, actually, what I would say is that communication technology is extremely important in space research. I mean, very few people realize that when somebody is out in the space, or if there's a satellite out in the space, then maintaining the communication and maintaining the control, that's actually extremely important. And it's, of course, wireless communication. So that is one thing. The second elective, which is very important for space research, is the VLSI and embedded systems. Because what happens in space research is that there's a huge emphasis on miniaturization. You want everything to be as small as possible, as light as possible. That's very important for space. I mean, when you want to send out a satellite, obviously you would like it to have the maximum number of functionalities, but with the minimum amount of weight, because the weight defines how long the satellite is going to live. So if you have a good knowledge of VLSI and embedded systems, you can actually build up very small systems. And then, of course, you need to know your data science, because a huge amount of data keeps streaming in, and you need to analyze it in real time. So there are various electives that we have in our specialization bouquet for ECE, which actually contribute very much in space research.
Okay, that's very interesting, and a lot of things I got to learn. So thanks a lot. So I have a couple of students now. I'm seeing a lot of excitement that's getting on with the digital learning. So students are wanting to know what are the new initiatives we are taking at NU on digital learning.
Okay, so when this lockdown was announced, I think the whole world got sort of was caught unawares. But we completely shifted gear, and we could put in position the complete online learning system. So of course, that required a certain amount of experimentation because there were a huge number of platforms available. So we had to figure out what is the best way of delivering it. And by now we have got that in position. And in fact, we have gone completely online with whatever courses we are running right now, which is basically the boot camp that we run for our final year students, pre-final year students who are preparing for the placements, and many other courses. So that's gone completely online. So that was one component. The other component, which is very important for technology especially, is the laboratory work. So what's happening is that we have got access to virtual labs, we have got access to various simulators, and they are being used to actually conduct the laboratory sessions as if the students were present in their actual physical laboratories. Except that the students are all at their home, but they can actually do those experiments. Many of them can be done. So there's another thing which has happened. And then we have been also experimenting with the evaluation, because whenever we have education, so the evaluation also comes as a part of the package. And in evaluation, of course, one has to be extremely careful. So we have been trying to see which evaluation methods actually work well, which platforms work well. And a lot of experimentation has again gone into it, because there are a number of platforms which are available. So we have to experiment with all of them. And finally, we have narrowed down to 1 or 2 platforms which we are now using for not only conducting the admission process, they have actually been used for conducting the admission process. And now there's the AIP and all that. And now they're also being used to conduct the evaluation of our students for their end semester examinations. So we have put all those things in place. And now the remaining bits and pieces also have to go into place, that is declaration of results and taking attendance and other such administrative stuff. So we are trying to take them in one by one at a time. So by the time we reopen, we'll be completely online. So the preparation part will be complete from our side.
Great. So, just one last thing, and I'm also running out of time, just so that all of us get a chance. We have some specific questions on whether we have remote sensing electives, and when is it that we can take specializations if we are opting for the BTech program in computer science and for ECE.
Right. So as I said, that the pedagogy is that the first 4 semesters are meant for preparing the students in the core fundamentals. That is, the foundation has to be absolutely strong. And then the remaining semesters are used for building up the verticals, the specializations. So, and that is where your electives actually come into the picture. So basically the electives and the R&D projects, the capstone projects, all of which contribute to building up the extra things, they come from the 5th semester onwards. So basically that is how the whole pedagogy is designed. So they'll be doing a lot of projects. For example, if they want to do remote sensing, okay, so the bulk of the courses will be happening from the 5th semester onwards.
Okay, great. Thank you very much, Sudeep. I'd like to move to my next speaker today, and that's Professor Parimal. Has she been able to join us back? Not an issue, no problem. So I think she unfortunately dropped because of an unstable network. But I'm seeing a lot of questions from students, and I think there are students who are actually wanting to know a little bit about if I want to change my stream midway, is it going to be possible, and what is the flexibility the curriculum gives to us when we come in at NU. So may I request one of our speakers in this panel to be able to take that question?
Manisha, I would be very happy to address this particular question. Actually, our system is very flexible. There are lots of flexibilities available. You may get now admission in a particular program. After 1 year, you would like to change from stream 1 to stream 2. from ECE to computer science or computer science to ECE, whichever way. It is possible. The system has a provision for movement, horizontal movement, without loss of time, because the courses for the first year are essentially the same.
Great. Thank you very much, sir. We have many students curious to know what are the kind of opportunities they will get upon their graduation from NU. What are the kind of placements? What are the kind of organizations that come in? We also have a few of our alumni over here. So maybe later on during the session, once we have the next panel over, we could have some of the alumni also contributing. But I'd request you to answer this, please, sir.
Yeah, I think you have correctly identified. That is our alumni who must answer. We have a very interesting record of 100% placements over the last so many years. And either it is the jobs or students who are wanting to go for higher education. There is a center called Center for Industry Collaboration, which provides necessary support for students appearing for campus placements, and lot of training goes in before the students appear for campus placements, either for soft skills or the domain skills. Even during this period of COVID, our areas have conducted boot camps for preparing our students for the next semester placements. Over to you, Manisha.
Thank you very much, sir. I'd just because we are getting a little short on time, I'm going to move to the next panel and continue please sending in your questions as you're observing. I'm trying to bunch all of them together and direct it to the panel members. We will be more than happy to stretch this session and take those on at a later stage. And we'll take on these additional questions, but just so that every panel member is able to represent what they're here for and give you a view, we'll move forward. So the next panel is going to address queries on management and industry-led programs, campus life, academic and admission policies. This panel is going to be represented by Professor Shivendra Mathur, who's Professor Management, General A.K. Singh, who's Dean Student Affairs, and Professor Parimal Manke, who's Vice President. Let's begin with you, Professor Shivendra. We have approximately about 31 odd students here from the management stream, and most of them are extremely curious to know what can they expect from an integrated program. Is it going to be heavier in terms of the number of hours in a classroom as compared to the BTech program? Or how will you space out the classes? How's the program structured? Do we have any collaborations? So tell us a little bit more. There's a lot of excitement that I can see even on the chat.
Thank you, Monisha. Welcome, everybody. Good evening to you all. So Integrated MBA, IMBA, which is a 4-year program, is a very carefully designed program, which we, after a lot of deliberation and detailed discussion with industry leaders, that we have come up with. We offer specializations in Integrated MBA, IMBA into very high on demand areas, such as analytics, financial technology or fintech, that's what we call, digital marketing. So these are the areas in which we are offering specializations. When we designed this program, we took industry requirements for the next many years and then added courses in the overall architecture. Coming to the question which Monisha has raised, which is how difficult or how pertinent it would be compared to the engineering. Well, we can say that we, for the past 2 batches, we have students who joined this program from almost all walks: mathematics, humanities, commerce, sciences, almost everybody. They joined this program. We ensure that there's a level playing field. I'm not saying that it's an easy program, but what I'm saying is it's worth it for a reason. that these areas which I'm mentioning now to you are the areas which will remain in focus, which will remain high on demand for the years to come. So these are the areas what we call as specializations, like business analytics, marketing and marketing analytics, finance, banking and fintech, digital and social media marketing, entrepreneurship, communication and media studies. These are the 6 specializations that we are offering in this integrated MBA program, which is for 4 years. One big advantage for you people to join this program is that you save 1 year of your life. So you complete your MBA, BBA plus MBA in 4 years. So this is one big advantage, and then you complete your integrated MBA in the most relevant areas which are high on demand and will remain so for the years to come. As you know that in this COVID crisis also, all the things that we are doing, working, getting the results are from data. So business analytics, data science is one such area which would remain in focus. Coming to the issue of how difficult it would be for us, I would request we have our 2 current students who are with us on this discussion, this session, who are there on this session, and they can answer it best. I mean, from a faculty perspective, I would always say it's easy, but let's hear from the students directly and find out how do they feel.
That's going to be wonderful. That's fabulous. So we have Aditya and Monica here from the first year. Are they in the audience? If they can connect up, it'll be wonderful.
So Aditya and Moni are from IMBA second year. They are from the first batch. They are in the second year. And before they could speak, I can give you a little background about them. Moni, now she can speak. Yeah, Aditya also. Over to you guys.
Good evening to everyone over here. So my name is Aditya Naik and I'm from Bombay, and currently I am in my second year, that is the 4th semester of integrated MBA. And I would like to speak about my experience at the NIT University regarding integrated MBA course. So there are basically many reasons, but I pointed out some of them. So basically, you get to learn basically in your first 4 semesters, you get to learn all the subjects which are very much important for you before you take any specializations, the 6 specializations which was told by the sir. And there is something which we have in our university, that is the mentor-mentee relationship. So right from the beginning, as a student, you have been allotted a mentor. So apart from your academic issues or maybe different issues, you can always approach that mentor who is basically your faculty, and he or she will help you in mostly each and every problem. Other than that, as a student, I have experienced that yes, we get a lot of opportunities as an IMBA student. Say for example, a startup competition or a business plan competition. And as we move ahead, we get to go to different places. So I can give an example that in our previous semesters, there was a group of students who got selected at the Christ University College in Bangalore. So for the business plan, and they successfully went and they won a good round in their business plan competition. So overall, I would say that yes, faculties over there and the universities are very interactive. They help each other very well. And there is nothing that the course is going in a very fast pace, or you may not understand. There is nothing like that. It goes according to our pace. You may not feel that it's a very aggressive course that in 4 years you have to complete so many. Nothing like that. So everything is at our own pace and steady pace. And overall, the subjects are really very amazing. And as a specialization, the 6 specializations are very updated and the demand for them in the market are very high. So I think it's a very apt and a very appropriate course to do. So this is my experience about NIT University's integrated MBA program.
Thank you so much, Aditya. It was so lovely to hear you speak. Moni, you were saying something as well.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so my experience so far has been very well. At first, like as Sir said, it can be a rigorous program. It can be quite daunting. But then most of the time, the reason we might feel like it's very daunting is because we just come out of high school. And to be honest, Initially, it might feel like that, like a month or so, but then you catch up very easily because you tend to learn and you tend to adapt, and then you tend to start enjoying the subjects. Once you, because in our high school times, we're so limited to like what we learn. And once we come to university, you are introduced to so many diverse subjects. And especially in this program, you have so many, like a big range of subjects that you've never touched before, or maybe just you lightly touched. So adding on to that, when you touch so many diverse subjects, you tend to learn about your interests. For example, like I didn't know that I would enjoy economics so much, but now I do. So that's big beauties of IMBA. Though it might feel like there's a lot of subjects, is you interest, and so because of that, you tend to really enjoy it, and it becomes a part. Like it doesn't feel like an external program. It just feels like like a day-to-day life situation. It's very free. At first, it might be difficult, but then you tend to really enjoy it and love what you're doing. Finally, after so many years, you might feel like this is where I want to be. And as the university creates that environment, it's not just the IMBA course, but the university, the faculty, the entire overall experience for those last 2 years have been pretty amazing. You really learn about yourself and your courses and what you want to do next. So I would say it was a very beautiful experience so far.
Thank you so very much. Thanks, Moni. And my next question, Shivendra, since the students and the parents are hearing both the IMBA students talk, I've got a couple of questions who specifically want to know how are we ensuring that the integrated MBA program is relevant to the industry demands, and considering that our first batch of the integrated MBA program is yet to graduate, how are we preparing them for the industry outside?
That's a pertinent question, Monisha. First, let me tell you a little about the university's management program. We started the management program in this university in the year 2010, and close to around 1100 students have graduated in management from this university. They have joined some of the leading corporate, starting from ICICI Bank, Federal Bank, UBI, public sector banks, analytics firms such as WNS Limited, Fortis Hospital. So many companies, and the best of the companies that they've joined. We started the IMBA integrated MBA program 2 years back, and that was for a fairly sound reason that we wanted students to catch them young first, so that we can mold them into the right direction and into the right specializations. So the specializations that we are offering now and the kind of courses that are there in these specializations, we leave no stone unturned in ensuring that they get the right kind of placements. We don't go to companies, rather companies come to us for placements. So for example, if I take a specialization for just for illustration purposes as analytics, business analytics. So the kind of courses that we offer in analytics are in big data, in machine learning, Python, NUton skills. So in automation, like robotics process automation. So these are the areas which are currently in vogue and will remain in vogue for years to come. So we equip these students with the necessary skill sets, which will remain with them for 10 years. So the program is that way much futuristic in its nature, and that's how we define and design the program, talking to the industry partners. Another such example of it is like fintech. When we started fintech, there were hardly any school which was offering fintech as a specialization. We realized that fintech is the future of the country in terms of banking and finance. And we designed the courses in financial technology after talking to the leading fintech companies, including Paytm. So just to illustrate you by example that now we have all the payment banks, mobile payments, cryptocurrencies, UPIs, etc., etc. These are the things which will be required. So the students have to understand, learn these trades before they join the company as a finance expert. So the specializations that we are offering in this space is what we call finance, banking, and fintech. take it from me, from now, 5 years down the line, we will not have the banking brick and mortar models. Everything will be digitally converted. So these are the things which will be required. For example, blockchain based solutions. Then you have examples like POS, mobile POS, wallets. So Bank of India has already tied up with Paynimo. Then SBI has teamed up with EasyTap. So these are the areas which are coming up so fast, rapidly, that the students need to learn. So we ensure that whatever they are learning is futuristic in nature, and therefore we are quite confident that placements are not the issue. We have been placing students in the leading corporate, like I mentioned, about 1100 students have already been placed since 2010 from the management area. And we have our industry partners, like in analytics space, I mentioned about WNS Limited, NTL. So we have our industry partners, and there's no concern to that effect.
Great. Thank you so much, Shivendra. I have a very interesting question which has come to one of our founders, specifically from the audience. Are we planning to start a new course in integrated MBA with maybe a BTech computer science combination? Can I request either Mr. Thadani or Mr. Pawar to take that if they want?
Let me give it a shot, and then Raj
Sure.
can join in. If we offer an integrated MBA with a technology background, then it would be a 5-year program. But I want to just go back to the origins of the IMBA program. The integrated MBA program was actually designed in very close consultation with what we heard industry talk about. Industry said, we not only need engineers, we also need people who have basic grounding in all the management disciplines, and preferably with an MBA degree, because MBA degree allows us to place them at an appropriate level in the organization versus a normal BA or BSc. And for that, it is important they come with knowledge of very specific areas which the industry needs at this point of time. So all the specialization thought of, like digital marketing, like financial technology, or what we call fintech, or if you take area like entrepreneurship, these are very, very specific areas which actually give you an overall management grounding with specialization in that particular area. So this program was conceived that way. Second, for the student, given the fact that you're going to graduate in 4 years compared to the 5 which your contemporaries will take in case you went after a normal graduation, in this case, you will go straight for an IMBA program. That 1 year work advantage, and which you start at a higher level, will place you ahead in life. So if finally you wanted to pursue a management career, which many engineers like to do, for example, that's where the context of Monisha's thought. At this time, we do not have an integrated MBA with a technology background, which is a few years of technology and then into an MBA. That can be done. The two programs can be combined, but then you would not be saving maybe the 1 full year. Maybe you will end up saving 1 semester, but that program is under consideration. Right now, what is important for you to know is the integrated MBA program, even for a computer science student, if he is going to use and let's say focus on business problems, then an IMBA program could be equally the current IMBA program with emphasis on high-tech, some of the technology areas like analytics and fintech could be of extreme use to them. The third part I wanted to say about this program is the strong involvement of industry, not only in the design, but also in the conduct. And Aditya and Moni, as they go further in their the rest of the program, are due to meet industry mentors. You already met some of them, right? You had some people talk to you about entrepreneurship for a number of occasions. Mr. Pawar takes personal interest in this program. And in fact, I'm going to request him to add a bit to how we are enriching this program, because this is actually a very unique program. And we are lucky to be having the autonomy in this university, that within the regulatory framework, we are able to offer this program, which not too many other universities can. So I will just pass it on to Mr. Pawar to add to this and also share his excitement.
Should I
Yes,
start
please,
at this?
sir.
Okay, so you have to get me on the video, I guess. I'll just switch that on.
Yes, sir. Now
Yeah.
we can see.
So I do want to take a minute to explain that, we talk about NU as the University of the Future. So this program has been crafted as a program of the future. And in selecting our students who come in here, I have to say that we are looking for more than just what is conventionally looked at in the technical programs. And we are trying to probe what your real passions are. In fact, as Vijay mentioned, I have been taking some classes for the first and second year batches. And I want to say that I'm amazed by how open the students are in what they want to explore, which I value. They are exploring. We'll give them options to explore. We will build very strong internship programs for them, give them a vantage point in management with senior people in industry, and let them explore what they want to look at. So while we have talked of a number of specializations, I want to say that year after year, those will change. And our students will navigate the path which they like the most. Because all of us know that if you love some subject, and I heard Moni talk about a newly discovered passion in a subject, we want you to discover the passion that you have, because then the subjects become easy. And then you're really navigating the path where you want to reach. So see this as a program where you will navigate your path, create your own path, and the university will respond by putting more and more ideas in front of you. So the spirit of seamlessness is another word you heard us say, is that we combine a set of what look like unrelated subjects, but which are interesting to you, because your career you have to shape. And we expect this IMBA program to become a very unique program, which will help students navigate their paths, choose their passion, change their options as they go. And as they come closer and closer to passing time, they would have worked in internships with industry to choose finally the subjects that they're looking at. So I personally think this is one of the things that the NU will be known for as we go forward. And I have great fun when I meet the students of our IMBA batches.
Great. So while we have you, sir, there is a question that's come in specifically for you, since you mentioned the Mobius ring. And a parent wants to know what really is the significance to us at NU of the Mobius ring.
So we talk about seamlessness as one of the core principles. And the Mobius strip, as it's called, is if you take a piece of paper, twist it and join it up, like you see behind me, then you can traverse over it and you don't know where is the beginning and where is the end. So it's seamless, without beginning, without end. And we all know that life is actually seamless. Problems are seamless. Nothing comes as a math problem or a physics problem. Everything comes as a composite problem. So our learning has to be seamless. So the Mobius strip, which is without beginning, without end, is also the essence is captured in our motto, which is Anadi Anand. And that motto was given to us by our first chancellor, Dr. Karan Singh, the greatest living philosopher, who also believed that life should be seamless. So the Mobius strip represents a geometric representation of an object which is without beginning, without end, and it captures the spirit of seamlessness. So for example, the IMBA students, I took them last to sit on the hillock, and we we had a very interesting set of sessions at sunrise, trying to look at what their aspirations are, what their dreams are. You can't do that in a closed classroom. We also have a classroom under the tree. We call it the listening tree. Again, a continuum between nature and the built world. So it's an interesting idea, but it needs more time than just a minute. But the Mobius Strip it represents something which is seamless, without beginning, without end. And we aspire to build an institution which is seamless. For example, we don't have departments. We don't have a engineering and a management and a math department. All our buildings are seamless. Faculty move from place to place. And that's the only way we can let students also navigate knowledge very seamlessly. So it's a long answer, but something that I'll have to explain when I meet all of you as students.
That is very, very interesting. Thank you so very much, sir. Thank you. So I'm getting a lot of questions right now on chat, and some of our parents have brought up a couple of things which I feel are fair. If the head of the institution, Professor Rao, may I request you to take, and Professor Rao. Professor Rao is on call. Sir, we can't hear you.
I think now I'm unmuted.
Yes. Yes, sir. So,
Yes.
sir, I have a couple of parents who are asking questions because it's very natural while evaluating a university for their children. Parents want to know what are the rankings the university has. So, as head of institution, the question comes to you as to what is the role that the rankings play in the university, and in the absence of a ranking, what's our plan, and how are we as compared to other peer colleges?
Okay, it's a very important question.
That's right, sir.
Minds of parents and students. Rankings, there are diverse views because it depends upon the parameters that you choose. Most of the parameters chosen for the world rankings, they do not favor Indian universities. That is why we do not rank in the first 300. All our rankings are beyond 300. IIT Delhi, IIT Mumbai are ranked beyond 600. Maybe some other newly established institutions have been ranked with better ranks. So, however, rankings do provide some sort of a general guidance. My take is that you need to evaluate. We cannot go blindly on the rankings that are available, as I mentioned, Times Higher Education rankings for IIT Mumbai, IIT Delhi. So we need to carefully look at that. So we need to look at the student quality. Normally, people say that you have to look at the faculty quality, you have to look at the infrastructure, you have to look at the labs, you have to look at many other things. But not many say that you have to also look at PS. So I strongly suggest that you must look at the quality of the students. So wherein the selection of the student really matters. The students whom you are selecting for the programs really matters. So that is why it is better to look at the student quality and also students who have graduated, what they are doing, and of course, in addition to this, faculty, their research, etc.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. So I am, my chat window is completely overflowing, and most of the questions are coming from, and it seems many of the young adults in the session here can't wait to experience hostel life, as per me. So General A.K. Singh, you are Dean Student Affairs at this residential university. Now, most of my questions are going to be coming to you. Thank you so much for joining in. So let me begin by asking you the toughest question, which is, how tough is your job, and what can students expect when they come to NU?
So good evening, everyone. Since we are a fully residential campus, we are supposed to be functional 24/7. And that's why you see me sitting in my office at this time. So that's the background of my office. About the campus and what to expect here, firstly, let me share that we are an absolutely green and clean campus. We are totally Wi-Fi enabled. As far as the housing is concerned, we have separate hostels for boys and girls, which are totally secure with security at each position. Particularly for girls, we have a dedicated lady warden and a lady guard all the time. We have a common mess for everyone, which primarily serves vegetarian food. What we ensure are two things. Firstly, the food has to be hygienic and it has to be served hot. For those who cannot survive without non-vegetarian food, we have a cafeteria which serves all types of food. We have a Nestle outlet which serves all Nestle products. We have a tuck shop where you get all requirements of daily needs. And we have a very interesting night cafe called the Tera Mera Point, the TMP, which is run by the Students Cooperative, which is functional from 10 in the night till 6 in the morning. So anybody who's missed his dinner can have a fill over there. The campus has all sports facilities except for swimming pool, which is part of future development. We have a very vibrant club society, almost 18 clubs, which hosts events of various types throughout the year and various competitions. We have a 24-hour functional health center to look after the health of students, which is manned by trained medical attendants all the time. The doctor visits twice in a day. For all emergency cases, we have a tie-up with Kailash Hospital, which is 15 kilometers from the campus. We have an emergency vehicle on call all the time, and we shift all emergency cases to Kailash Hospital. We have a dedicated cab facility. Rates for movement to all places are fixed so that nobody is fleeced. And as far as discipline is concerned, we have zero tolerance against three things. First is ragging. Second is consumption of weeds. And third is physical assault. Any student found indulging in these is suspended for minimum 6 months, while other violations have minor disciplinary penalties. In our journey of over last 10 years, the university has won 7 awards for green and eco-friendly campus. And last year, in the Swachhta ranking at the national level among the residential institutes, we were ranked 6th. So this is what I would say initially, and I'll take on questions if you have any.
Yes, so of course, a huge bunch of questions, General Sir, are around how are we preparing to open post the lockdown, being a residential university, what will be our safety measures, what are the additional precautions that we are taking, and so basically what's going to be like our new normal and what's our COVID readiness?
Okay, so while many started the preparation for COVID situation much later, we started our actions from 13th of March itself. And from that day, all outpasses were closed, the classes were suspended, the students were permitted to go home. Those who wanted to stay back, we made special arrangements for them. And from the 14th onwards, we have a rigorous system of screening and sanitization right from the main gate. No matter who comes in, including when Mr. Pawar, being the founder, came on the campus after the 13th, he had to go through that entire rigor. So we are absolutely ruthless in following that, no matter who it is. And that is every time that you enter the campus. In addition, the digital preparation for the online delivery has already been told to you. and we are now preparing fully to go completely digital from 1st of June when we start or when we resume the suspended semester. In order to cover up this time, we very quickly decided initially to go online, but from 22nd of March, we declared the summer vacation so that whatever is the lockdown period or this tough period, we consume in the summer vacation and we can start thereafter subject to what the conditions are for movement. As far as our preparation for receiving the students is concerned, we're already in touch with students to get their entire details of arrival. Where do they belong to? What is their mode of transport? To get in touch with their parents as to how are they going to let them come to this place. Once they arrive here, what will be the entire procedure, right from the main gate till they go to an isolation center, till the time they finally arrive to their rooms in which they'll be segregated now. Preparations that are required in the mess, in the classrooms, with the norms of social distancing, wearing of masks, and sanitizing their hands and every stuff in every building and every place. So apart from this, whatever we do at the campus level for various staff members who come in every day, so their screening and their sanitization, we are practicing right now because many people are coming to the campus for work now. We have 27 students who are stranded on the campus who are from far off places. So they are actually being used as a test bed for students when a whole lot of students will come back. So we are leaving no stone unturned in ensuring that our students who come, firstly, are absolutely safe, and we do not allow the infection to get into the campus in any manner.
Thank you so much, General Sir. It seems we are all very ready and well prepared to welcome these young students on board, and Neemrana surely seems to be like the safest place among all of these tough times. I just have a last bit of question for you. People are very curious to know whether we have common washrooms, whether we have any facilities in the hostels, what are class timings, what are curfew timings. If you could just quickly give me a quick snapshot, because there I can see a lot of excitement building up around all of these areas from all the students who are eager to get into a residential facility.
Okay, so I had deliberately held back few things, keeping time in mind and knowing that such questions will come up. So firstly, about we being a residential campus, I tell everybody that after you leave your wards at the university, I become the foster father of all the students. So I have the responsibility to make sure that they are comfortable and they are without any mental trouble. So that's why we have an in time to the campus, 10 p.m. in the summers and 9 p.m. in the winters. The students have the facility of self-generating gate pass twice in a week. Apart from the weekends, that is Friday afternoon to Monday morning, they can go on a weekend gate pass. They can also go to the NCR and close by areas. Every time that a student leaves the campus and he checks out from the main gate, the parents get an auto-generated SMS, which enables them to understand as to when has the child gone out and when has the child come in. So that is just as a protection measure so that we get to know about the status of the student, whether inside or outside the campus. As far as the campus is concerned, for the boys, there is no in time to their hostels, but due to pressure of majority of the parents of the girls, we have an in time to hostel, which is 11 p.m. every day. But 2 years back, we had a gender equity question on which then we discussed with the boys and girls and found a way out. So from 17th of October 2018, we have every Wednesday as girls' night out, but the boys are locked in and the girls are out. So
Oh,
this has started once in a week now, and hopefully we will roll it up further and make it almost equitable to boys and girls. So that is how we manage these things on the campus.
Great. Thank you so very much. And whilst I may not be able to take on all the questions that are coming in on chat because we have a sudden barrage of them, I'm hoping all your questions, audience, are getting addressed here. Continue to put it on chat. In case I'm not able to take all of them in this session, we are planning to have various such similar sessions in smaller bunches going forward. We'll be sending out the calendar to you. And anything specific that you want any one of our speakers to address, we'd be more than happy to take that offline. So I just have one last question, and maybe somebody on the panel earlier could take that, which is on the semester exchange. Do we have a semester exchange program, and how does that work? And post that, I will request all our alum who are here on call, along with Geetika, who heads placements and industry practice, to also come on board, and we could address all the questions that are coming in for placements. So about the semester exchange program, may I request one of the speakers to kindly address that, please?
There is a provision for semester exchange. The Academic Council has created a provision for a semester exchange with universities abroad. However, we have got a specific program called double degree BTech MTech with UMKC, wherein the student spends 3.5 years here on campus, completing all the requirements, fulfilling all the requirements of the BTech program, and then he will go for 1.5 years to UMKC to complete the MTech program. So this student will get 2 degrees. Right now, there is a student at UMKC who is getting BTech from here. So this BTech could be either CSE or ECE, and MTech in data science from that, MS in data science from that university.
All right. Thank you so very much. Thank you. If for the benefit of time that we have and the audience that has been so very patient till now, I'd like to invite one of our alumni. So we have various alumni across both the technology programs. We have current IMBA students here in the session. We also have our students from graduated from biotechnology here. And of course, we have Geetika, who heads placements. So we're getting a lot of questions on how we prepare our students for a graduation outcome. How do we prepare them for life outside? And till now, we've been able to hear this side of the views, and there's absolutely no better way to be able to give you the perspective on the other side. So I'd like to request one of our alums, and we have Bodhayan here. We have Abhi and Udalak. We also have Mr. Sanjeev from Nagaro Software, Dr. Mani Madhukar from IBM, who are our recruitment partners. So may I please request Bodhayan, Abhi, Udalak, Snigdha or Shaurya, along with Geetika, to kindly join us, please.
Hi, good evening, all of you.
Hi, Geetika.
Hi, thank you so much, Manisha. Good evening again to all of you. I'm Geetika. I take care of the Center for Industry Collaboration at NIT University, and I would not like to take time in explaining what we do and how we prepare our students. I think it would be best if we hear it from the horse's mouth.
Absolutely.
Udlak, are you there? Can you just briefly tell us what NIT University does to prepare our students for placement and the external environment?
Hi Geetika, and hi Bodhan, hi AK sir and Manki ma'am, it's great to see you back. VS Rao sir also after a long time. So we have an IP program called Industry Practice, and so it is like a state of art for NU apart from BITS Pilani that I know of. And so in the last semester, that is the 8th semester, we have an industry practice where for 6 months students go for an internship and at the industry and they work, and post which they get a pre-placement offer, PPO. And this is also a part of the NU's academic curriculum. So while the student is working as an intern, he gets paid a stipend, good amount. And along with it, NU also grades the student on basis of his performance in the internship by talking to the managers and mentors, beyond which they get a replacement offer, and that's how it works till now. I mean, Geetika will have more statistics on this part, but we have a good average placements of around 5.5 lakhs. I mean, that is more than the national average from most of the private universities that we're talking about in India, so which is mostly 3.5 to 3.6 if I'm not wrong. uh, However, COVID might have affected it, but still now, NU had really great placements, and they have been very transparent with the placement policy. So unlike other universities, they don't tell you like so the data is very much transparent. They don't tell you they also tell you the bad things. That's what I'm trying to say. So if a placement goes down in 1 year, they'll tell you that. If the placement goes up, they'll obviously tell you that. It's not like once upon a time, like Bodhan got one of the highest salaries. It's not like that. And you will always tell that Bodhan had always got the highest salary. If next time there is some other Bodhan who gets less or maybe more, it will change on the website. So what we have in the website is only 2019. So last year 2018. So it changes every time. So whatever data is there, it's 100% accurate, and I can vouch for that.
Thank you so much, Udlak. I would also like Abhi to come online and tell us a little bit on the research side, because I think he's published his paper outside India, and I think he can talk about that a little bit, so that we know that side of the story, where how research helped him in his career. Abhi, are you there?
Geetika, in case he is not there and we have Shaurya or we have
yeah, we can see what Manisha we can do is we can also look at the other side of the table, where I would request Mr. Sanjeev from Negaro Technologies to tell us his side of the story in terms of recruiter, who's our placement and internship partner.
That will be a wonderful perspective.
Yeah, so I think Mr. Sanjeev can briefly tell us what his experience with NIT University has been over the years. Mr. Sanjeev, are you there?
Yes, Geetika, good evening. Am I audible?
Absolutely.
Yes, very much audible.
All right, so thank you for having me. Good evening to everyone. It's always nice to interact with NU. So I have been associated with NU for more than 3 years. Been in IT for close to 25, 26 years now. In my role as India campus lead for the organization that I worked, one thing I can tell for sure that as the technology is transforming, we are moving from traditional tech stacks to data science, cybersecurity, cloud computing, big data. I think historically my experience dealing with NU student had been the curriculum that I see, which are typically designed the way it is, which is a core curriculum with specialization in different verticals, which are new tech trends that we are adopting in industry. These are very helpful. We have been able to kind of not only offer people a job on the campus, we have been also getting people for internship, and that is the last semester internship that someone spoke about. That basically then transition into the placement offers and subsequently their regular employment. A great deal of focus from a campus standpoint as far as the industry integration is concerned. I see lots of, very close blessings from people like Mr. Pawar and Mr. Thadani, which is always phenomenal to really, look at the industry perspective onto the academic playground. Mr. V.S. Rao, who comes with, huge experience from an academician standpoint. Whole in whole, I would say as a industry practice, it's always been pleasure, interacting with the university, with the kind of, academic transformation that I have seen in the past years. And of course, some of the brighter students that I have interacted so far. Yeah, Geetika, back
Thank
to
you
you.
so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Sanjeev.
Thank you.
I would now like Bodhgayan, whom Udlak mentioned to us. He's one of our students who got the highest salary at one point of time, and we're really proud of his achievements and his career graph getting up and successfully doing great. So, Bodhgayan, are you there?
Yeah, sorry, it's Bodhayan.
Oh, yes, Bodhayan. I'm so sorry to misspelled it. Can you just briefly tell us how has your experience been with NIT University?
From the time I spent at the university, it's been absolutely great. I mean, I can't say that it's been unique because I didn't go to multiple universities, of course. But I mean, so I had only one experience to compare with, but it has been great. Before I start explaining, I'm just like to say that it feels great to see the leadership team again after such a long time. Brings back memories. Some stressful, but mostly very happy. Yeah. So I have to say a few things about our BTech program. It's that you have the core courses, of course. You have the physics, chemistry, biology, mathematics, and then your core engineering courses, and then the things that you're expected to learn during your engineering-based BTech. But there's also a few other courses. I think every semester, at least back when I was there, every semester you had to do one mandatory humanities course. So we have courses like economics. We have courses on basics of, I had taken courses on basics of management, financial markets, I think. There was a course called Professional Ethics and Values. And one of the most interesting courses that you have is, or we had back when I was there, is called Community Connect. And this is literally you going outside the campus and visiting the villages that are surrounding the campus. And then I think one of the things that we did was a project called Each One Teach One, where one student actually became a mentor for somebody, a child in the in one of these villages, and then taught them English, I think. What I want to say is that I observed that there was this huge backlash from the students about, like, why do we have to do all of these things? Why do we have to waste our time? This is not engineering related. But I have to say that paying attention to these courses is pretty much the reason why I am where I am today, because engineering education will give you, it'll teach you skills. With these social, these non-engineering and social courses that you take, this will give you context. I mean, there's no point, learning how to build this brilliant mobile app to solve all of the world's problems if you go to this village and find out that they don't have internet. So how the hell are they going to use the mobile app? So yeah, I mean, it's very important that you also get this context. And I have to say that it is very important that you pay as much, if not more, attention to this one or two humanities courses that you get in your BTech semester, apart from the core engineering courses.
Okay, thank you so much, Bodhayan. I would also like Mr. Mani from IBM to help, because IBM has been one of our veterans. They've been our oldest partners. They've been hiring, from NIT University since inception. So I really want Mani to share his experience. Mr. Mani from IBM. I think he's not online right now. So let me introduce
a couple of questions. Whilst he joins back, I have a few questions that are coming in from students, which are specifically asking about the biotechnology placements. What are the kind of organizations? What are the kind of opportunities? And I believe we have two biotech alum present here in session as well. It would be wonderful to hear something about biotechnology from you and maybe from them as well.
Yes, Monisha, sure. So I'll ask, before I say anything, let me introduce Snigdha, who's there from the biotechnology specialization with us. So Snigdha, are you there?
Hear me, ma'am?
Yes.
Hi, Snigdha. Can you, briefly, can you talk about the biotechnology opportunities and how it was at NIT University?
Okay. So the opportunities in biotechnology are very nice in the university. The labs that we have in the universities are also well equipped and with the recent technology. So when I went to the industry practice, which is the last semester that we have to go for a research, I chose for a research internship taking. So I already had enough background on research as we had the labs and the technology that was used. Also the computer science and the bioinformatics part, that is the most recent form of biotechnology that we have nowadays, is also taught to us very nicely in the university, and we also have the labs equipped for that on purpose. So along with the wet lab skills that are required, we also get the exposure of the ways of assembling the stuff with the technology, and which really helped me in the research area that I wanted to pursue and the internship that I took forward. The R&D project which we get in between the semesters, which is also a 6-month project, which we have to do inside the university, also gives us many opportunities to connect not only with the biotechnology but with also the other streams like the computer science and the electronics, since the projects that we are given are made in such a way to collaborate with all of them, and we can continue the research further in other streams as well. So the internship I did was on a research platform with the National Center for Cell Science, which was mostly microbial related. And because I had such a good background in the labs and was taught, and the subjects also aligned with the research that is currently going around the world, it was easier for me to relate to the lab atmosphere, and the less amount and the less and more individual based attention that is given to the lab also made us more aware of what we were learning, and more gave us more experience in understanding and actually doing the experiments. So it was very easy to adapt to the lab culture outside and in the big universities and the research institutes that we have here. So it was very seamless in a way to understand the new technologies, as we had already gotten a prior enough background from the university.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Nita. So just to add to this, Monisha, about biotechnology, if you heard yourself also, because our students are so well prepared during their BTech on the research side of the program and the curriculum, that during industry practice to get them into a research kind of a model internship is extremely easy, and that is what has happened over the last many years. And after they complete their internships, companies like Biocon, Stellis Biopharma, and many more, take them for a placement also. But if you see the last trends, almost 30% to 40% of our students, after doing their industry practice, move on for higher education. That has been the history of the specialization of biotechnology. I would also like to invite Abhi now. I think he's back, and he can briefly tell us on the research front, which Snigdha also touched upon, how it helped her in her career. And similarly, Abhi can also give us a little peep into that.
Sure.
Abhi, are you there?
Yes, ma'am, I'm here. Thank you
Yeah.
for introducing me. Hello, everyone. Hope everyone is doing fine. So regarding the research front that Gitika ma'am talked about, and I think it's been talked by Monisha ma'am also before, NU provides a very holistic environment for us to research upon our specialties. So as a part of our project in the last semester in cybersecurity, I did a research on an OSINT tool called IntelliSpect with our professor at that time, Mr. Gaurav Ashni. And he was very supportive throughout the entire process and even was willing to get us extra lab equipment, all kinds of resources that we would need to complete our research. So we did a small part of the research while I was still a student in seventh semester. Then I went for my IP at PwC in the eighth semester. During that time also I was in touch with him and the university overall and was still working on my research, which eventually paid off when I was able to finally submit my paper towards the end, towards the mid of this year and towards the mid of last year. And it got accepted at a tier 2 conference in Barcelona, Spain. And I was able to go and present it over there with two of my other team members. The university throughout the entire process was very supportive, even monetarily, or coaching me through the entire process of going to summit over there and what kind of challenges I would face during that part of that position of the uh, entire process also. So I think it's a very good initiative by the university to still support the students even though they've completed the program, and it's a brilliant initiative. That's all I like to say.
Thank you so much, Abhi. Thank you. I'm sure this is wonderful to for our future Newtons to hear all of these stories of success from our alum and also our students. But Geetika, you also had one more student, correct? Somebody who
Yes,
is working at
Shaurya,
Sanofi.
I kept the one of our students for the last. Shaurya is there. Shaurya, are you there?
So a quick comment from Shaurya. We are already running short of time.
Yeah,
Shaurya, are
I'm
you
there.
here?
Yeah. Hi, how are you?
Oh, you're at Paris, is it?
Yeah.
Wonderful.
So can you just briefly tell your experiences, Shaurya?
So I did biotechnology and I graduated in 2018, but unlike a lot of students who went into research for their masters, I went into management. I did my master's in management in France, and as soon as I finished with NIIT, I moved to France in the very same academic year, and I started my master's degree. While my entire time at NU, I was pretty sure that I want to stay in this industry, but more towards the management side and not the technical side. While it's very easily confused that biotechnology is completely research oriented, well, it's not. It's very management oriented as well, and that's what I wanted to do. And once I started here in France, I started a master's in management. I finished it, and with my academic scores in NU and with the research the R&D course that I had done, and the 6-month internship that I had done while I was at NU, I was able to. I was awarded the Eiffel Scholarship by the French government, and subsequently I started working in a pharma industry wherein it is very highly regarded, which I obviously got into later on, that if you do have a engineering degree in biotechnology, you are very well regarded, even if it's not from the country that you're working in. So my experience at NU was quite good. I did have a lot of mentors and professors in NU who actually always encouraged to think outside of the box, to not be scared to move out of the research field and go into the management area. And according to me, it has been a great experience.
Great, wonderful, so much, Shaurya, and lovely speaking with you. Thank you for connecting all the way from Paris with us.
Thank you.
All right, so thanks a ton, Geetika. Thank you so very much, Mr. Sanjeev, Dr. Mani, all our wonderful alum. And now we are very, very short of time, and I have just the last bit of closing remarks, which I'll direct to our founders and Mr. Thadani, Mr. Pawar. whilst a lot of our parents have, tried their best to ask a lot of questions, there are still a few questions that that we will be taking offline because of the fact that we don't have too much time here. But one thing on everybody's mind right now is what's going to be the new normal for us going forward? And as a university, how are we preparing ourselves, and what's going to be our approach once the new academic session begins and our future Newtons join us?
Okay, Geetika, thank you very much. First, it is so nice to see you folks. Digda, Udalat, Bodhan, Shaurya, Abhi, each one of you have changed a little bit to your hairstyle, I noticed. And of course, with an Eiffel Tower behind you, your hair were flying, so that's understandable. But so nice to have see all of you, and please do remain in touch with the campus, and we look forward to continuing our association. That's number one. Number two, I wanted to say was these are the people who are the ranking of the university. Since somebody asked a question about ranking, these are the students who represent the ranking of this of the campus, because we are a young university, and for a young university you are at a disadvantage, and for many years you can't even participate in the ranking. The third thing which I want to say is about the academic calendar. Professor Rao did talk about in great detail as to how we are preparing for the new session. But I thought for clarity to the incoming Newtons, I should maybe clarify one or two things. While the academic session, the formal academic session will start on 1st September, but all these youngsters who are our alumni Newtons will vouch for the fact that one of the most interesting experiences in the campus is a phenomenon called and for some of them who were part of the early admission part, the session called HSBC or the Jumpstart boot camp, that Head Start boot camp that some of the smaller bunch address. So I just thought I'll spend a minute on that, and both Mr. Pawar and myself are very, very passionate about these two institutions in the campus, which form an integral part of life. So first, let me give you the dates, then just a little bit, and then obviously I will be asking Mr. Pawar to say some more on that, and we could spend this for the rest of the evening as well. But I know that we have passed the time. You have many more questions than what we thought you would have. But that gives us an opportunity to have another conversation, and we are definitely going to have a series of conversations with you. So as long as you have the inclination, we will find the time to talk to you. So, and there is a lot of curiosity about how we will start. So 1st September, if the classes start, the Head Start boot camp typically starts 3 weeks before, which is, in this case, will be about 7th of August. So 7th of August, the following situations can exist. Number one, all the lockdowns are over, in which case, as you know, General Singh is prepared to have all of you tomorrow morning. As far as he is concerned, he is ready tomorrow morning. Markings have been done, places have been organized, and all the measures are in place. But obviously, you can't travel right now. So when you are able to travel, and if that is possible on 7th of August, we will, of course, be there to you in the campus. And we are also making sure people coming to the campus in an organized queue and not just land up 50, 100 of them together. So for that, you will get instructions as and when things are over. Of course, you are worried about your CBSE completion. So CBSE dates, as you know, now that JEE dates are out, CBSE dates will be 2-3 weeks before that. So your CBSE will be over. As far as coming to the campus is concerned, based on the admission interaction process which you went through, which in any case was based on class 10 and your performance in the AIP, you would be coming to the campus and you would be admitted, on assuming that you would be completing your class 12 successfully as per the requirements of the curriculum. And even if that was to happen and that result was to come on time, then in 7th August it's possible you do not have the travel arrangement possible because we are ready for all uncertainties. In which case, the Head Start boot camp will start from wherever you are right now. We are prepared for a complete online Head Start boot camp, and I'll explain you what Head Start boot camp is. Head Start boot camp is to give you certain life skills which are in addition to the curriculum and which also prepare you for certain very specific subjects that you may have interest in. Also, it gets you into a daily routine of living on the campus, of things, getting up on your own, various habits, and you have a fairly busy schedule. And all this is in a passive mode. You are an active participant in that process. And typically, there is one specific skill that you acquire. So last year, for example, in the Head Start Bootcamp, on the request of a lot of you, we had what is called a personal quality initiative. This is a time-tested methodology which we have used in NIT over the last 30 years, and which actually says, if you have to deliver quality to your customers, because finally at the end of the day, all of us will have a customer. If you have to deliver quality to a customer, you have to practice quality in your personal life. How do you make sure that you are a quality professional intrinsically? So for that, there is a methodology, there is a training program, exercises, there are workshops, you go through them. Resonance, which is just follows the Head Start Bootcamp, typically is to cover those subjects in which you need some grounding, get you involved with activities and sports, and it's basically your soft induction into the campus, while without the academic load, you are listening to a variety of viewpoints from visiting dignitaries, and I will request Raji to elaborate that a little more. What I want to talk about is your first day in the campus is when you start preparing for your career after the campus. We have a program which is called Find My Future. You will actually sit down, figure out who you are, why you are, what's your purpose, what are you aiming for, and what are you aspiring to, knowing fully well that in the next 4 years, all this will change. All this can change, and therefore, how do you manage your career aspirations in a quick manner? So again, there is a methodology, there is a diary, there are mentors who work with you, but because you designed a program, so next time when you have conflicting requirements in the campus, a lecture, there is a sports tournament, there is a debate, and that's, by the way, part of life. 6, 7 things happen at the same time. How do you prioritize? You prioritize by that document saying, this is what is more important to me at this point of time. And accordingly, you move in there. And then, of course, there are requirements. Your best friend might be going for that, etc., etc. So, design my future, specific areas in which you would like to focus on, which you are short on. For example, programming, if you don't have as much depth in programming. And by the way, programming is a fact of life for everyone now. You may be a management student, you may be a biotech student, you may be a technology student, which in any case. Why? Because that prepares you for understanding the new world of Industry 4.0. The last part is about invited lectures, because that opens your perspectives as to what all is possible. We invite our parents to be active partners in the curriculum. So the first couple of days, the parents also stay. And those of you who can and would like to and stay, and we organize interactions with you. Of course, as parents, you can visit them at any time, not necessarily meet them every time, but definitely visit the campus anytime. We have specific accommodation available for you. So I just thought I'll cover all this. I will request Raji to talk a little bit about Mr. Pawar, to talk about resonance in a few more minutes. But I just want to tell you, we are ready and we are eager to welcome you. And we are looking forward to our continuing interactions between now and then. Let your studies not wait till 1st September. Let your next 4-year journey start now. Thank you very much for joining us. Over to Rajiv.
So it's been a long session. I'm not sure if all of you bargained for such a long session, but I've been listening very carefully. And as Monisha has mentioned on more than one occasion, there are many questions. So I presume, Monisha, those are being kept track of because every question has to be answered.
Right, sir.
So let me only say that the induction program, or resonance as we call it, is a very important phase of taking you from the days of school and giving you a smooth transition into your days in university. The point that Vijay made, which missed out, was that this is also a socialization process. We have seniors who come in and join the induction program to guide the freshers into the campus. And so when General Singh talked about ragging, it doesn't exist because during the induction program, there's a group of seniors who are your mentors who induct you into the system and who are around throughout to look after you. So your smooth transition, for many people, the first time in a residential campus, from home to residential campus, from the rigor of school to a new independence, how to deal with that independence, and then how to actually prepare you for the world. So we get an outstanding set of speakers every year. And I personally make sure that we get leaders from all walks of life, leaders from business, leaders from the science community, leaders from startups. And they come there and they talk to all of you to engage you with the world as they see it moving ahead. And so the idea is during the time for you to start thinking about what you want to do. But again, as I mentioned in my interactions with the IMBA group, I know that your priorities change and they should change and we should respond. So keep letting your questions come. Normally, I do encourage students, prospective students and parents to visit us in the campus while making this choice. There may be some restrictions this time, but the moment they're open, we'd love for you to visit. And in the meanwhile, I'll ask Monisha to make sure that your string of questions keep coming and that we respond to each and every one of them. It's been a good session and I look forward to more interaction. And of course, I wish you the very best. You have exams ahead. We are mindful of that. In the early admission, our goal actually has been, now that your admission is in place, just focus on your exam and do well, because that also counts for your career and your resume. So all the best, do well, look after yourself, and most important is be safe and be careful.
Thank you very, very much, sir. Thank you so very much to each of our speakers, our entire leadership team from NU, our alumni, our industry partners, and of course, our existing students. And an even bigger thanks to all of you in the audience today, the future Newtons, their parents. I really hope we were able to resolve all your queries. In case we missed answering some, I'll be more than happy to take them offline. We'll consolidate that and we'll get back through our regional admission teams or through any of the specific speakers that you want to direct your queries to. And last but not the least, on behalf of the entire team here, we look forward to welcoming you at NU. And I really hope you're as excited as us to begin this journey. All the best and good night to everybody.